will take place at WrestleMania, and the main event cannot wait for that. Now, speaking of the road to WrestleMania, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. You guys know about what's going to happen. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship will be decided. Brock Lesnar will defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against John Cena. This will be the third encounter, and it may be the final encounter between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Now, yes, the word, and I know everyone's heard about this already, Brock Lesnar is due to make his return to UFC, and now I'm starting to hear that Bellator has actually reached out to Brock Lesnar. So, let's see. Do you go with the UFC or do you go with Bellator? Now, to some wrestling fans, they would rather let him go to UFC, and to others, some may want him to go to Bellator. And the others do not give a flying fuck about where Brock Lesnar goes. That's how it goes. And speaking of the UFC, you guys know about the story, and it's been spreading all over, and I've been hearing about it, and I was actually there when it all took place. Yes, CM Punk had broken his silence and opened up to everything that he was talking about. He left, he was tired, he wanted nothing to do with professional wrestling, he wants nothing to do with the WWE anymore. And then the huge announcement about a week, or actually a few days later, I'm sorry, that Punk would come to UFC. That's right. CM Punk going to UFC. My thought on it is, personally, I'd love to see CM Punk in UFC. Now, it's pretty much apparent that Punk is done with wrestling completely. Secondly, I know there's some people that are already starting to say the words, oh, well, Punk's a fake wrestler, he can't hang. And also all this stuff about, let's see, well, dude, he's just a wrestler. You know, they said the same thing about Brock Lesnar. They said the same thing about Ken Shamrock. They said the same thing about Dan the Beast Severn. They said the same thing about Tank Abbott. They said the same thing about Bobby Lashley. And look at what the fuck they're doing. And that's what a lot of people, and that's what I can't stand about these people, these so-called MMA fans that think they know a lot of shit. Now, I'm a wrestling fan. I've always been true to who I am. And that's to be the biggest wrestling fan in the world. I don't give a rat's ass if wrestling's fake. You think I'm going to tell the MMA fighters that they're fake? No. They pretty much proved that when Brock Lesnar left UFC a couple of years ago. And it was funny because I was sitting at a bar at Theo's, relaxing, chilling out, and talking about the whole thing with Brock Lesnar leaving to go to the WWE. And then one guy decides to go ahead and make my night when he said the words, "I'm just so surprised Brock Lesnar left. I never thought UFC would be that fake." I remember those words. I don't know who the guy was, but I remember those words very, very well. The moment when some so-called MMA fan says that UFC is fake, that really, you know, it makes me like, wow, you just proved my point. You just proved my point. So, nonetheless, if anyone's going to think that CM Punk's not going to hang, give me a fucking break. He's going to hang with the best of them. He's going to do what he can, and he's going to shut up a lot of fucking critics. I'll tell you that right now. I know that for plain fact. I'm not going to say that CM Punk's not going to hang, because he will. If Brock Lesnar can hang, if Bobby Lashley can hang, if any of those guys can hang, CM Punk will. And I can't wait to see his first fight in the UFC in 2015. It's going to be tremendous. It's probably going to be the best-selling UFC out there because it's CM Punk. That's how it goes. Can't wait. And I guess the big question would be if things don't work out with CM Punk, will he come back to wrestling? You know, I want it to happen. I would. But it's up to Punk. That's my opinion. I'd love to see Punk come back and do another pipe bomb on the wrestling world. But I think it'd be better just to let it go, leave it alone, and let Punk decide it on his own. So it's going to be a long time till we see Punk back in a ring, in a wrestling ring at all, under any circumstances. Now, let's move on. Let's get to what we need to talk about also, besides the WWE. Let's also talk about Destination America. Now, that's going to be the new home of Impact Wrestling. They just did their best of show just a couple of nights ago, and now everything's set for January 16th, which is set on a Friday, which is a very good move on Impact Wrestling's part to have Destination America, to have Impact Wrestling on Destination America on a Friday, because on January, I believe, 15th will be the return of WWE SmackDown. SmackDown is going back to Thursday nights, and that's what's going to take place. And then, of course, you have Impact Wrestling that's going to happen on Destination America on Fridays now. So I applaud TNA Wrestling for doing that. It's a good move on their part. They don't have to worry about the whole Wednesday night deal anymore. So now all they got to do is, present what they got to present on Friday. Of course, it's going to take place over in New York City for the next few days. So we'll see how all this comes about. I just hope that we see something different with Impact Wrestling, which maybe or may not happen, and hopefully something afoot would take place with Impact Wrestling, and either it's going to get back to business the way it is, or something will change. We'll see what happens. Now, of course, let's talk about Lucha Underground. As you guys know, a tournament is going to be decided to who is going to be the next Lucha Underground champion. That's all going to be set. That's all going to be ready to go. The main event cannot wait for that. I know that it's still one of the hottest things going in professional wrestling right now. Everyone's been talking about Lucha Underground, and it seems that wherever I go to Theo's, I go to Bone Shakers and a few other places, and people have asked me the same question. What do you think about this organization, Lucha Underground? I tell them the same thing. This is the best wrestling organization out there. And to me, I mean, right next to NXT and right next to New Japan Pro Wrestling and right next to Global Force Wrestling, which, by the way, Global Force Wrestling is due to have its very first pay-per-view on January 4th, Sunday, on the same time as Total Divas. And I expect a lot of viewers, a lot of wrestling fans to check out Global Force Wrestling on pay-per-view when it happens, and I can't wait to check it out. So it should be very, very interesting. Now, what was I talking about? Lucha Underground having its first champion. I cannot wait to see how this whole thing, who becomes the new champion. Will it be Phoenix? Will it be Johnny Mundo, aka John Morrison? Will it be, let's see, who else am I thinking of? Chavo Guerrero, Sexy Star, Son of Havoc. Will it be any of these stars? The only person I want most to become the champion would definitely be Conan's protege, Puma. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. So we'll see how that shit goes in 2015 when Lucha Underground puts together a brand new champion, a new Lucha Underground champion. So we'll see what happens. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just cut it off from here. This is going to be a short episode of the Main Event Talk, like I said. But don't worry, the Main Event Talk will return or not, depending on how things go. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Main Event Talk right here on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter and everything else like that. And I think that's going to do it for right now. Check out all my videos on YouTube when you guys have the opportunity. So thank you for watching. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll see what happens in 2015. Make 2015 your year. Why? Because I can and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. And before I go ahead and go, don't forget to check out my 5-part episodes of the Main Event Thoughts, talking about the possible future of WWE, the future of Impact Wrestling, the future of every organization out there in professional wrestling, and you'll be glad to hear about who I think will win the Royal Rumble next year. So be ready for that. Merry Christmas, guys.